All right, welcome, guys. This is Breakfast with the Brand. Mm, supposed to be going there. All right, guys, welcome. This is Breakfast with the Brand, the number one podcast in the world for entrepreneurs and leaders who want to go from bland to industry leading brand. And guess what? It's actually our first show for the new year, right? So, guys, I want to say Happy New Year to you and your families. Go ahead, put some flames in the chat. Phenomenal morning. I see Charmaine very early. So, Charmaine, phenomenal morning to you. Guys, it's gonna be an amazing show as usual. Michelle, phenomenal morning. By the way, put it in the chat. Where are you listening in from? We always like to check. So I know we have, let's see, we have Detroit in the building. I think Charmaine might be around Texas as well. But guys, anyways, we're gonna dive right in. I do have a special guest for you today. But I'm gonna introduce this guest in a slightly different way. All right. So before I do that, I want you to go ahead, put some more flames in the chat, and just get ready. So sit back, relax. I'm going to play a very special video. I want you to look at it. And when we come back, I want you to put it in the chat. What are some of the things that you took away from this video? Okay. So, guys, again, like, share this stream. We'll be back in a few minutes. Check out this quick video from our special guest.
Standards of excellence. So I help people put zeros behind their numbers. I help people move up in or out of their organization and get paid their annual income monthly, their monthly income weekly, and their weekly income daily. I promise you, if you follow me at all, you're gonna wanna use something to write with. CSA. First, CSA. Clarify, simplify, and amplify. Clarify, simplify, and amplify. It starts with the decision. Who do you want to be and what do you want to do? Who do you want to be? You have to define that. If you don't know, then it's vague and it'll never be clear. The problem that we have is clarity. We walk into an organization happy to be there, happy that they accepted us, but we don't have a clear goal. That's why people stay in the same organization year after year after year, go to the same vacation spots with the same people and talk the same amount of nonsense around the same water cooler. So when I go into an organization and someone says they've been here for 20 years and they're still around $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, I'm like, whew, it's chilly. It's a little bit cold when I know that all it takes for you to raise your prices, whether it's inside or outside of an organization, is self-belief and dedication. Brand you and not what you do. So when I meet people, I ask people, tell me a little bit about yourself, and they immediately tell me what they do. That's not who you are. Branding is who you are. Marketing is how people find out about you. So when you say, I'm a photographer, you just lumped yourself in with a million other photographers. What's special about you? Why should I work with you? I don't need a hand with a camera. I need a man with a story, a woman with a goal, a vision, someone with an idea of what they want to be and who they want to impact in their lives. That's what moves me. We know where we belong, whether we're in that seat or not. We heard the word legacy and we were pulled to come. I flew in last minute. Let's go. Leadership, legacy, love. Whew, I gotta be there. So what happens in marketing is when you say, I am you put yourself in what we call a red sea. You're now fighting against a million competitors with a million different things. Clarify, who are you? What do you stand for? And then simplify it, don't make it 10 things. Bruce Lee said, I do not fear the man who has thrown 10,000 kicks. He says, I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. You can have the most mouth-watering steak that the world has ever seen, but if you try to position it or place it in a vegan neighborhood, you make no money. Who are you trying to market to? Sometimes we don't support each other. Sometimes you got to go outside of your community, outside of your neighborhood, outside of your phone book to find someone who will support you. So if your business is hurting, think about the place that you're trying to move, whatever it is that you're moving, and the people that you're trying to sell to. You want to become the OVO. The OVO is the only viable option in your vertical. The only viable option in your vertical. We're not here for competition. We're here for domination. We're here for domination. Period. And if you feel differently, you're probably in the wrong room. Is anybody ready for the fifth one? Are you ready for the fifth one? Might want to capture this. Might want to capture this. For God's sakes, man, your prices. Your prices. We should stand out because of price. Some people look for the lowest price. You're making a big mistake because you're defining yourself. Your success comes from mindset and perception. If you're competing over the lowest price, there's a problem. Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands. Train people. I'm going to leave you with this. We train people how to treat us when we meet us based on how we treat ourselves. Brand you and not what you do. Thank you.
All right, guys, we are back. So, as you could see, our special guest today, really and truly, he needs no introduction. But I'm still going to introduce him, right? Because, just out of respect, this man is the founder of the Leadership Leverage, the founder of Branded Like a Leader, and actually the founder of, guess what? Breakfast with the Brand. So, guys, before we bring on Mr. Sean Raiz, I want you to go ahead, put some more flames in the chat, and we're about to get started. So, Sean, when you're ready, come on, let's have some fun.
Oh, come on, come on. Let's get going. Let's get going. Phenomenal morning.
Phenomenal morning.
Phenomenal morning. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. How's everybody? I've missed everybody. Listen, I've been out of the state. I've been out of the country. We've had so much fun in the last 45 days. It's been amazing. It's been amazing, guys. Listen, let me ask you a question. Put it in the chat, right? If you love to travel. Look, this thing is not even focused like that. We've been running around for so long. Listen, put it in the chat if you love to travel, if you like to move, right? If you like to move and not be still, put that in the chat. Like, I want you to think. Thank you for the welcome, Junior. Thank you for the welcome, guys. I'm glad to be back. Happy New Year's and all of that good stuff, right? I want you to think about where you would be and what you would be doing right now, where you would be listening to Breakfast with the Brand, hopefully, right? If you had no limitations, if you had absolutely no limitations, and you could right now, this morning, if you could have woke up anywhere on the planet, where would that be? If you could have woke up anywhere on the planet, where would that be? And then what would your day look like? What would your day look like? What would your life look like during today if you could have it any way you wanted? Just think about that.
I
Man,
could think of a couple places right now.
come
Actually,
on. That's right.
I think of a couple places right now. Hmm.
Come on, man. I'm serious. I'm serious. Let me tell you this, guys. Your business, your business done right. Maybe not the business you have at this moment, but your business done right will put you in South Korea, Michelle. No question. Your business done right. Your business done right will put you in Dubai. Your business done right will put you in Africa, Charmaine. Your business done right. Hawaii, right around the corner. A hop, skip, and a jump, literally. Done right. Your business done right. Your brand done right will put you right there. Right there. I have been, I don't even remember, 7 or 8 different countries in the past 45 days. We've had an entire phenomenal. I've traveled more in the last year than I have my entire life. Let me just say that. The pyramids. Let's go. Let's go. I want you to think of that thing. I want you to think of that thing. That thing you have right now, that's not working. That thing you have right now that you started a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that might not be moving the way you would like it to move yet. When you tweak, pop, fix, and format a couple different things, your business will give you anything that you want. Your brand will give you everything that you need and more than you ever possibly dreamed of. So, Junior, thank you for welcoming me back, buddy. I'm happy to be here. You know, I came back. I came back with a little bit of, came back with a
Yeah,
mustache. You
I
know,
see that.
a little different. You know, I said, when I said I'm just a kid from Harlem, they said, "He's still like." I said, "Hold on, I grow hair on my face." So let me let everybody know. You know, we grow hair. You know what I mean?
Of course, of course. Yeah, I actually noticed your background the other day, and I
Okay,
wanted to ask you. So, you see, because I know we're stepping into the whole exponential zone
that's right.
concept, the exponential zone.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'm curious. Does that background have anything to do with that?
Well, it is.
I know you're a very intentional person.
I
So
am.
I know there has to be a reason behind the color, just the change.
There is.
So okay. So tell us about that.
Okay, so you know, when we taught Brandon like a leader the first time, we taught color psychology, and the science of colors and the thoughts, moods, color psychology, the way it makes you feel, physiology, the physiological effects of color, right? So, blue is a calming, relaxing ambiance. It gives you peace. It gives you comfort. And that's the mode for this year. The mode for this year is peace, comfort, passion, purpose, intention, relaxation, rejuvenation. Guys, put it in the chat if you feel like you've been working real hard. And if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, put it in the comments. You don't have to be in this chat, but put it in the comments wherever you're looking in from. Doesn't it feel like you worked a lot in 2022? Feel like you did like doing, you know how they say doing the most? Doing the most. Well, watch this. When you do the most, sometimes you actually get the least. When you do the most, you actually get the least for one of two reasons. One of two reasons. Number one, working harder doesn't mean working smarter, right? Working harder doesn't mean working smarter. As a matter of fact, if it's giving you resistance and it's making you feel like you have to work hard, then you're doing something wrong. I want you to think about that. Think about it. Think about the key to a door. If you got the right key, you don't have to jiggle it. You don't have to finagle it. You don't have to twist it. You don't have to try to force it in. If you got the right key, then getting into the right door is simple and easy. The problem is that people have the wrong key. They got the wrong idea about what business and branding really is. So they're trying to force it in. They're trying to force the universe to give them something that they're not perfectly tuned for yet. They're not form fitted yet, right? They're not honed down yet. It's not the right situation, the right conditions. It's not saying that you might not have the right offer. It's saying that you might not be marketing to the right people. You might not have the right product fit. You might not have the right offering. It might not be an irresistible, mouth-watering, unrelenting, irresistible offer yet, right? You might not have the qualifications that you need yet to get in easy. So that's the first reason why you might feel like you're working extremely hard and not getting all of the results that you want. Number two is because when you work so hard, you don't even notice your success. You don't even notice the wins that you got. Think about that.
Sean,
Yeah,
not to cut you short there, but you said something that was very powerful there. And when we look at the exponential zone, and what if your second point, when you get to that point where I would say you are working hard, yeah, but it doesn't feel like hard work. I think we call that flow.
that's flow.
So
Flow.
my question is, when considering the exponential zone, is it an area where you're doing just as much work, right? Just to clarify the message, are you saying that we shouldn't work as much? Or are you saying we should get into a state where we're working as much, but it doesn't feel like work? It doesn't feel tough. It doesn't feel hard.
It's almost so I always say that business is a spiritual game. I always say that business is a spiritual game. So this is the part. This is the part where it becomes almost metaphysical. Realistically, this is the part where it becomes a little bit hard to describe. So I want you to think about a Beethoven or a Picasso or Da Vinci. Picasso, Beethoven, or Da Vinci, masterminds way beyond their time. They create works of art, whether it's colors and lines, circles and shapes, or music and notes and keys. Their work is unexplainable, it's almost incomprehensible by normal standards. However, if you ask them, they would say, this is not work at all. So, this flow is the space where work it's not work, it's love, it's passion, it's purpose, it's excitement. And
Mhm.
what happens is what I've been saying from the very beginning. You literally are able to do 3 to 5 years of work in one. You are able to do 3 to 5 years of work in 1 year and get either 9 or 15 years of results in three. If you do 3 years of work in one and you remain in that state and in that space for 3 years, then you'll get 10 years of results. It almost feels like I'm in my fourth chapter in my dissertation. I've been in college for the past 10 years. It feels like I just enrolled yesterday. It feels like I just enrolled yesterday.
Right.
I've gone through
So
so many courses, so many credits, so many different disciplines, from the associates to the bachelor's to 2 master's degrees to 2 doctorate courseworks. Now I'm in the dissertation phase of both of them. I don't have another course to do. And I'm halfway through the dissertation, more than half. A dissertation is 5 months, 5 chapters, and I'm on the fourth one. And it feels like I just started yesterday. And I don't consciously remember all of the different courses and classes. However, subconsciously, the potential and the power is all there to be tapped into at a moment's notice. So it's flow, it's a different state, it's a different place. It's almost like transcendence. And people actually talk about being the third person and watching yourself as you operate. Time disappears, it doesn't exist. You guys will know it as the thing that you love to do most and the thing that you're most good at. For me, it's speaking. For me, it's knowledge-based service. So if you've been to a speech of mine, or you've been out to see me, you came to Myrtle Beach, or you've been to a challenge of mine, you know that I'll say we're going to go into a challenge for 3 hours, and we'll be there for 7. And on the 7th hour, it'll feel like I just started. Whether we're live in Myrtle Beach or whether we're virtual, screen to screen, it makes no difference. That's flow.
Yes, sir. So, guys, I want you to put it in the chat. What is your definition of flow? All right. So, we're going to go to a quick break. We'll be back in 60 seconds. And when we come back, we have more with Sean. So, put it in the chat. What is your definition of flow? Mr. B, take us to a break.
How do you close? How do you really get close?
All right, guys, welcome back. We are back. This is Breakfast with the Brand. And of course, we have our special guest, Mr. Sean Raiz. So, Sean, I actually have a question.
Okay.
Flow, the exponential zone, this is something that I've been able to tap into. And I think most people would agree that they've been able to do it to some extent, even if they were not consciously aware of what it was. I know for me being a writer, copywriter, a lot of the times when writing, we have to sort of enter into that creative space where, like you said, time sort of disappears. What I'm curious about is if you had to lay down an equation for flow, so x plus y equals flow, characteristics, how does one find flow? What is a formula? What is the Sean Raiz formula for flow? So let's say somebody looking right now, let's say they wanted to get into that state. What are some simple characteristics? And I don't mean stuff like working out. I mean, what are some characteristics like passion, for example?
Of
What are
course.
some of the things that make up the formula of flow?
Passion, purpose. Passion, purpose, and productivity, right? Or progress. So three P's, just very simple, three P's. And then I'll give you three I's. So three P's, you have to have passion for what it is that you do. Absolutely mandatory. If you don't have passion, then there's no love or engagement in what you're doing. You hate it. You wish you were somewhere else. You're very mindful of it because it's uncomfortable. It's disconcerting. It's where you would rather not be. Passion allows you to get out of yourself. When you're fully engaged, you're not thinking. You're just not conscious of everything going on. When you're miserable, when something's uncomfortable, you have a heightened sense of self-awareness, right? Your perception is high because you're like, I hate this. I don't like these people. I wish I was somewhere else. You're thinking about where you're trying to go when you get off of the job, and you're thinking about how fast you're going to get out of the job when you get there. So going to the job, you're disengaged. While you're on the job, you're acutely disengaged. And when you leave, you're like, "Whew, God, I hate where I just was." Right. So you know that's not flow, right? The second one. So passion, purpose, purpose. If you feel like what you're doing is the reason why you were born, the reason why you were created, the reason why you're here, that gives you oneness with what you're doing. It puts you in lockstep. It gives you a reason to live. It gives you a reason to wake out of your bed and just be super joyful about the day because you're moving in your purpose. If you're not moving in your purpose, then you're a mistake. You're
Yeah.
either on purpose or you're in mistake. And nobody wants to be a mistake and nobody wants to waste time. And nobody wants to feel like they're wasting time. So when you feel like your movements, your moments are purposeful, it's much easier to get out of yourself while engaging absolutely fully. And then Earl Nightingale was the first one that was coined or recorded in the personal and professional development industry to say that success is the progression or the feeling of progress towards a worthy ideal. So
Mm.
it's progress. It's feeling like you're making progress, whether that's one more sale, one more video, one more book that you read, one more chapter that you read, right? So one more chapter, one more page, one more blog, one more article, one more video, one more phone call. These are progress. These are steps
Yeah.
towards a worthy ideal. So when you have the passion, the purpose, and the productivity or the progress, the next thing you'll start around 3 o'clock, and the next thing you know, it'll be 9 or 12, and it'll feel like you just started, and you'll be completely engaged, wired, and electric.
Right. You know, Sean, while you were talking, I was thinking about a fourth P because, and I'll tell you why. And this actually comes from a conversation that I had with another entrepreneur who had to get on the phone and who had to make sales, who had to
Mhm.
call. So I know a lot of us, we get into a state of flow, right? But truth is, stuff happens and it could take us out of that state of flow.
Of course.
I wanna offer another P if I can, and that P is perspective.
Yeah.
Because perspectives gives you what I feel is very important, which is a great and a phenomenal attitude. Because when you're moving, so let's say you're starting business, something happens, something breaks, you lose money. It's easy to have the perspective of loss and take yourself out of that state of flow. But I think with the right perspective, it can fuel the right attitude that allows you to keep moving forward. So even when you take a hit, having the right perspective protects the attitude, and the attitude allows you to stay in a state of flow. So you're happy. So you call somebody, they hang up on you, you're absolutely phenomenal. Who's next? You lose that deal, you lose that sale. Absolutely phenomenal. Who's next? And that allows you to protect yourself and stay in that state of flow. So, what is your perspective on that?
My perspective on that is that it's again a little bit of a heightened sense of awareness. Now it's fine. It's like course correcting, right? Course correcting. The thing about being in flow is when you, how do you say? You said lose a deal.
Yes.
In flow you don't lose a deal. In flow you weren't supposed to get that deal. In flow that person wasn't supposed to be a part of your thing. Everything, remember, passion and then purpose. When you're in purpose, everything that happens is on purpose or by design, and you trust in the process. Now, of course, you have to have a heightened sense of perception to get into that space, but it's also natural to where it's not cognizant. When you look at people who do high level sports, now these are death defying sports, right? People who do sports at a super high level, Red Bull, triathlons, and things of that nature. They don't think that much about how they're going to do it. They just move. If they have to cognizantly try to get into perspective, they're going to die. You understand? And if you're always trying to put yourself in the right perspective, you're going to waste a lot of time. So what I'm going to say to everyone who thinks about that, if it's work, if it feels like work, there's something wrong. You're not there yet. You're close to it, but you haven't really tapped into it. Because when you tap into it, it doesn't feel like work at all. It's living in the right perspective. It's not something you have to achieve. It's a state. Perspective can be stated as a skill. It's something that you learn how to do. State is a way of being, it's a presence. I've been in state for a long time. I've been in the zone and in flow for a long time, way before I knew what it was. So, right now, what I'm doing, what you're watching and what you're experiencing is the process of deconstructing. I'm deconstructing what got me here. I'm deconstructing how I've been able to make such a phenomenal amount of progress in a short amount of time. That's what's going on. I'm unpacking what it is, right? But to do it and to be it and to exert it and express it, no work at all. None. None. If you asked me 2 years ago how it was possible, I couldn't give you an answer. I would have described it as work.
Right.
Now
Let's
I
talk.
now I realize it wasn't work at all. It didn't
Yeah.
feel like work. By someone else's standards, they come in, they try to look, and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't do all of this stuff." And I'm like, "This is not your purpose. Then there's something else that you're supposed to do." And that's why we have coaching like a leader, closing like a leader, speaking like a leader, right? Because there's different spaces where people exist. Every key doesn't fit into every door. So if you take out your keychain, you'll see multiple keys. You'll never try to put your house key in your car door.
Right. So what I'm hearing you saying, Sean, or rather describing, is intelligence, but a different kind of intelligence. So most people think about intelligence as you consciously thinking of something. So we both know that there is the conscious mind, there is the subconscious mind. So are you describing a sort of subconscious intelligence that you don't have to think about, but it is readily available? Is that what you're describing when you speak
Always available.
about?
Yes, it's always available. It's always available. And that's why I tell people, like, get out of YouTube, get out of YouTube, get out of all the different things that you're doing and focus on one. Because when you're in a state of attraction and distraction, write that down, guys. Attraction, distraction. When you're in a state of attraction, distraction, you're subtracted from that which is natural. So let me give you an example. When we watch an influencer, we say, "Oh, they do this. Maybe I should try this. Oh, they do this. Maybe I should try this. Oh, my mother says to do this. Maybe I should try to do this." and we never find our key. We never find our lock. We are the key, guys. That's why I say brand you, not what you do. Brand you. Don't go wide, go deep. Don't go outside, go inside. It's not external, it's internal. All of your success comes from within. You don't have to go far. No matter where you go, there you are. When you look in the mirror, that's your biggest critic, that's your biggest challenger, that's your biggest opponent, and that's your biggest cheerleader as well. But you've got to exist in a state of harmony with yourself. You've got to brand you and not what you do, and don't try to be anyone else. What happens is we have people that are saying, wow, he's successful doing this, I'm going to do that. Wow, she's successful doing this, I'm going to do that. We get on a job and we listen to what the boss says or what the VP does or what the director does. And we say, wow, okay, they dress like this, walk like this, talk like this. That's what I'm going to do. And the more you do that, the further you go from flow. The further you go from your natural state of homeostasis. That's why you're off balance. And that's why disease sets in, depression sets in. That's why we do the compensating things like drink, smoke, all that other stuff, overeat, under exercise, underperform. We feel like we feel stuck. People feel stuck because they're anchored to things that are not them.
Right.
They're stuck and they're locked into things that are not them. When you cut those tethers and you allow yourself to float and fly away and be you, uniquely you, unapologetically authentic, now you become a magnet, you polarize, you begin to attract, and other people are attracted to you. Napoleon Hill said it like this. He said, he said, after the process of struggling and trying so hard to do it, he said, when riches come in such an abundance, when riches finally come, they come in such an abundance that you wonder where they were the whole time. But the reality is, and this is why I always say, all of your opportunity is right in front of you, but you can't see it and you can't attain it. Why? Because you're trying too hard.
Guys, if you follow what Sean is saying, put some flames in the chat.
2023 is not about doing more. It's about doing less. That's the exponential zone. Doing less and getting more from it. I'm talking about finding the best job. So watch this. I'll give you an example. One of our clients, her name is Jalita. So Jalita came to work with us after I did a speech in, I think it was Atlanta. Virginia. I did a speech in Virginia for Salesforce. The Dreaming in Color Conference just last year. So I did the speech. We spoke after the speech. We connected after the event. She came into the leverage, and in less than 30 days, she took the course Branded Like a Leader, came into the leverage, started listening to the course. Immediately it clicked immediately for her. What she had been doing, what we had to offer, and how we taught it, it immediately clicked. She immediately went into her job, immediately set some standards, some boundaries, some guidelines, and told them some things that made them say, okay, no problem. And they added a zero to her income. Literally. So she was able to go from 6 figures. She was already making 6 figures. She went from 6 figures to multiple 6 figures because what we taught clicked. And she did it in less than 30 days because she jumped in alignment. She did not resist what was being taught, and she followed the flow. She followed the next natural move. Siobhan Patrick came into Branded Like a Leader in 2020, right around the pandemic. Worst case scenario in the world. She came into Branded Like a Leader, and in less than 90 days, she started making $20,000 a month. Now, I'm not measuring flow by profit. I'm just saying that flow is profitable. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that flow is profit. Don't measure your flow by profit. But what I am going to say is that flow is profitable. Sean Thomas, let me give you a Coach Tight. So Coach Tight came into branded like a leader. And before he monetized, he harmonized. Before he monetized, he harmonized. So I can remember. So Sean, the brother came into branded like a leader, and in less than 6 months, we did a challenge. So he was on the challenge, and we had a conversation. And I said, "What has been your main takeaway? What is how?" And he monetized. He don't get it wrong. He had clients and he monetized. But this was the thing he said. He said, "Sean, I've been able to get clients, been able to build a business, been able to make money, but that's not the important part." He said, "The way that I'm connecting with my family,
Mm.
the way that I'm connecting with my family, the way that we're able to spend time." And every time you turn around, he's traveling to another place with his family. So his profitability has given him the ability to be more meaningful and take more intentional actions with the purpose that means the most to him, and that's family. So I really want you to understand this. Don't measure your flow by profit, but flow, being in flow and being in alignment and with your purpose, your passion, and your progress is more profitable than anything. You will be more benefited by less money and more flow. You can lose money and be in flow and feel richer than you've ever felt in your life and be more meaningful and productive and intentional.
All right. So, guys, we will be taking a short break. When we come back, Sean, I have one more question about flow. So, we're going to get into that. Mr. B, take us to a break whenever you're ready. All right, guys, welcome back to Breakfast with the Brand, and we're talking about flow. So, Sean, I actually have one more question about flow. So,
All
for the
right.
people looking, everybody's different. Like, people have different personalities. Some people are high I's, high D's, high S's, high C's. What does flow look like for different personality types? Does it look like the same thing?
I love it. It does, but it doesn't. It does, but it doesn't. And the reason I'm going to say that is because when a person is in flow, they're in congruence with their natural ability. They're comfortable in their skin. They love what they do, and everything is on purpose. So in reality, flow is a personal brand done right. Flow is a personal brand done right. So when you're able to be authentic. So watch this. I'm gonna give you a couple of examples. I'm gonna give you a couple of examples. And by the examples, I want you to just accept what I'm saying and think about it and then accept it or reject it as your filter allows you to. Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur. Love him or hate him, he was in total 1000% congruence with who he was. Not conflicted, comfortable in his skin. A genius. Beethoven. Love him or hate him when you go into his style of communication or who he was as an individual. Love him or hate him. Genius. 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 Changed the world with his art. In flow. In flow. Elon Musk. They just said he's the first person to lose 200 billion. Watch this. It did not bother him a centimeter. I guarantee you that he is completely unbothered, unruffled, unfazed. If anything, it gives him more clarity. See, when people in flow who are their true, authentic, personal brand, money doesn't make the difference. They make a difference and the money follows, guys. I want you to understand that. They make a difference and the money follows. Tupac Shakur, Elon Musk, Kanye West. Love him or hate him. Feel how you feel. It doesn't make a difference to you how he feels because he's obeying his natural inclinations and instincts. I think no one would deny that he's a musical genius. Some would say he's also a business genius. A lot of the things that people do in that state are not understood by people who are outside of that state. My flow doesn't look like yours, but in flow, we can work together in harmony and respect each other's art and craft and respect each other's body of work. And you will be rich and enriched. But you can't be rich without being enriched because when you're rich without being enriched, you're miserable. So you're a successful failure. You're a successful failure. The outside world says, wow, they've made so much money. They've succeeded. They've overpassed all expectations of anything that was remotely resemble success. And then the next thing you hear, like the young gentleman who was with Ellen, the next thing you hear is that there's a suicide. And you're like, what? That's not possible. They were so successful. Yes, by man's standards, they were successful, but by their heart's desire, they were a failure. So the worst thing that you can do as an individual is get the right job in the wrong lane or succeed as a failure. This is why people walk off jobs and people are like, well, why did they leave? That's impossible. They had everything. No, they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
They had what you desire.
Mm-hmm.
But watch this. Watch this. A person who's impoverished may have what a rich person desires. And that's called peace. That's called peace. Peace is the new success. Peace is the new success. Flow is the new standard. Flow is the new standard. If you feel like you're working hard, you're not doing it right.
100%.
You're not doing it right. And when it feels hard, it's a sign. It's supposed to feel hard, right? When you're extremely exhausted and you're like, oh God, watch this. So in flow or close to flow, hours go by like minutes. out of flow, minutes go by like hours. Outside of flow and outside of purpose, watch this. I guarantee you this, and I want you to understand it. In my space, it's always, wow, time is flying. The years are going by like boom, 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 boom. And we turn years into months, months into weeks, and weeks into days. Now, on the flip side, outside of flow, Danielle, yes, then on the outside of flow, Michelle, on the outside of flow, minutes turn into months, and days feel like weeks, and weeks feel like months, and months feel like years. And you're like, God, when is it going to be 3 o'clock? It feels like I've been here for a month. You'll get to the job at 9 o'clock and you'll feel like you've been there all day, and you'll look up and it'll only be 10. And you'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe this.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it. Something's got to shift. And you're right. Something has to shift, but it's not the thing that has to shift. It's you that has to shift. You're not being true to your personal brand. You're not being true to you. And that's why there's discontent. That's why there's depression. That's why there's unalignment. The entire world is out of sync. And those few who are in sync, those few who are in alignment, those few who are those true personal brands, they always stand out. They always stand out, and they attract the world. They're in their best life, no matter where they are. The world may be upside down, and they're like, everything is fine. What's wrong with the world? Like a Gandhi. And you're like, how does somebody not eat for 40 days?
Mm.
I'm gonna just leave it there. Let you make out of it what you want.
Sean, listen, I have so many other questions. Unfortunately, we cannot get to every single one of them on this show. So I think we're going to have to bring you back. We're going to have to bring you back for another show. Because you spoke on so many things there. Listening into what you're saying, I know there's a lot of science there. There's a lot we can talk about, but unfortunately, we cannot go for everything on this show. So I would love to invite you to come back.
Let me say one more thing before we go, right?
Yes.
And guys, I will be on the Leadership Live Deep Dive at 5 tonight, right? So if you are at all compelled or interested in what we're talking about, make sure you come to the Leadership Live Deep Dive at 5 tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard, because we will be having a special announcement along with more conversation on flow.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not in state, your skills won't work. So we've gone from an industrial complex, agricultural first. So agricultural, industrial, technological, and I would say now exponential state and age and era. We've gone through an agricultural, industrial, and technological. This is the exponential state now, where all things are possible. All things are possible. We're proof of it. We're proof of it. When you hear first generation college degree, first generation millionaire, first generation business owner, first generation entrepreneur, when it's possible for the individual to do now in months what the organizations haven't been able to do in decades, you know you're witnessing something different. This is where you exist right now. You exist in the greatest possible time to be alive and be in business and be in flow, right? So I want you to think about it. When you become the organization, when you become the Inc., when it's you Inc. for real, everything has changed. The employee has the power on the job site now, because the job site knows that you can just easily just leave and go find flow. If flow doesn't exist, then you can go find it and do better no matter where you go. They print money. No one's at a loss. Realistically, people who are out of flow, they feel pain, like they feel lost, they feel pain. There's like the money's fleeting, they don't know what to do. But in reality, there's abundance for people who are in abundance, right? So I just want you to think about that. We are in a situation where your skills won't matter. This is why people have master's degrees and make $30,000 a year. because your skills won't matter if your state doesn't. If your state doesn't work, your skills won't work. And if you're in state, all of your skills will come alive. And it'll feel like you're playing a orchestra with all of the keys being a different skill. You said something about selling. You can go from closing to coaching to speaking to branding to marketing. All of it is like this. It's like playing an orchestra. Your life is like an orchestra. Your relationship, your children, your health, your sleep, your rhythm, everything is in state. But if there's one key off, right? If there's one key off, then it doesn't make a difference how many skills you have because they won't serve you.
All right. I wanna read what Danielle said quickly. So Daniel said, I am completely in flow at my 9 to 5 because I have reframed my mind about positioning and leverage.
Come
I
on.
am fulfilling purpose and it is being seen, felt, and talked about now.
That's right. And she's been with us, what, 6 months now?
About that, five,
About
six
a
months.
little bit more. Yeah. Not long. It's not hard is my point. My point is it's not hard to go from out of sync to locked in step.
Yes, sir. And Keishan says, this was in flow, didn't realize that the hour was up.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Listen, everybody, like when it comes to flow, we haven't even scratched the surface of flow. We haven't even scratched the surface of flow. But guys, I do want to say that if you are available, in fact, today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, please join us on the Leadership Live Deep Dive at 5. This is the link. Mr. B, if you could also post that link um, on Facebook as well as LinkedIn. We would greatly appreciate that. But guys, join us today, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to learn more about flow. I
And
don't know what
brand.
I don't know. I don't know
Flow,
what Sean's gonna
flow,
talk about,
and
but
brand. We
flow.
gotta bring that, we gotta lock that in. Flow and brand, because when
Okay,
you
there we
brand
go.
you, you're in flow. And that's what I said during the talk that I had. I stated that, and that's why we played it in the beginning. And I hope, Mr. B, if you can play that video before we go out. When you can easily tell someone in flow or not. Ask them to tell you a little bit about themselves. And the moment you do, what will happen with a person in flow is their eyes will light up and they'll start telling you about who they are. Who they are. And you can easily tell someone out of flow because when you ask them who they are, they'll immediately begin with titles and positions. They'll say, I'm a master's degree, or I am an accountant. And you're not really telling me about you when you do that. You're telling me about what you do. It's not about doing, it's about being. Do you understand? It's not about doing, it's about being, about who you are, not about what you do. And that's why the flow piece and the branding is lock in step. The true personal branding, what we taught, and that's why we taught it. And I wasn't even conscious of it. It was just what was on my heart to teach. Being authentic, being unapologetically authentic, being in alignment. I talked about turning decades into days and making your yearly income monthly, your monthly income weekly, and your weekly income daily. That's state talk. That's flow talk. And as I grow, I learn. And as I learn, I teach. So I want you to move with me while we move and go back and deconstruct what was there. Because when you unpack what's really inside of it, it's like reading a book for the second time with a PhD understanding. It's different than before. This is the age, this is an age of enlightenment. And if you're not getting it, then you're missing out. And if you're not tapping into flow, then you're missing all of the possibility and all of the potential for profit. Yes. Purpose. Yes. A sense of progress. Definitely. Passion, peace, You're missing all of these things. And you're wondering why in God's name it takes so long and it feels so hard. And I always tell people this, I will leave on this note, Mr. B. I always tell people this. I say that Joan of Arc, Gandhi, you and I, Jesus, we all had the same 24 hours in a day. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. So how can someone maximize their life and it feels like they lived 30 lifetimes to make the kind of impact that they have? And you feel so voiceless, powerless. No matter what your competence is, you feel so unconfident in your abilities and skills. And it's not because of your skills. They don't lack. You don't have inferior skills. You don't have superior state. And that's the shift that we have to go into so that you can actually help your skills become alive and you can begin to play and manipulate the keys. Thank
Wow.
you.
Wow. That was really good. You
Thank
don't
you.
have, you said superior state. So we're missing superior state.
Yes, sir.
I really like that, guys. Put some more flames in the chat for Sean. Sean, thank you so much for coming out with us today. Of course, we want you to come back. I know you're busy. I know you're flying and doing all of that, but
I
we
will do my
definitely
best to
gonna.
be here next week. I will do my best to be here next week. Share this, guys. Share this information. Share this thing. If it stops with you, that's out of state. That's not flow. Share it. Sharing is truly caring. You will be enhanced so much by all that you tell and all that you do when you push this forward. I guarantee it.
Guaranteed. Guys, so there you heard it. Sean's gonna be back next week. So definitely tap in, tune in, and also I'm gonna put up the link one more time before we go. So guys, if you are available today, if you want to connect with us
Don't miss
on
it.
a personal level, you could join us inside of Zoom on the Leadership Live Deep Dive at 5.
Have an announcement.
That's right. So
And we
thank you
have
again so much. Yes, yes. Thank you again so much. This has been Breakfast with a Brand, #1 podcast in the world for entrepreneurs and leaders who want to go from bland to industry leading brand. Let's grow.
Standards of excellence. So I help people put zeros behind their numbers. I help people move up in or out of their organization and get paid their annual income monthly, their monthly income weekly, and their weekly income daily. I promise you, if you follow me at all, you're gonna wanna use something to write with. CSA first, CSA. Clarify, simplify, and amplify. Clarify, simplify, and amplify. It starts with a decision. Who do you want to be and what do you want to do? Who do you want to be? You have to define that. If you don't know, then it's vague and it'll never be clear. The problem that we have is clarity. We walk into an organization happy to be there, happy that they accepted us, but we don't have a clear goal. That's why people stay in the same organization year after year after year, go to the same vacation spots with the same people and talk the same amount of nonsense around the same water cooler. So when I go into an organization and someone says they've been here for 20 years and they're still around $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, I'm like, whew, it's chilly. It's a little bit cold when I know that all it takes for you to raise your prices, whether it's inside or outside of an organization, is self-belief and dedication. Brand you and not what you do. So when I meet people, I ask people, tell me a little bit about yourself, and they immediately tell me what they do. That's not who you are. Branding is who you are. Marketing is how people find out about you. So when you say, I'm a photographer, you just lumped yourself in with a million other photographers. What's special about you? Why should I work with you? I don't need a hand with a camera. I need a man with a story, a woman with a goal, a vision, someone with an idea of where they want to, what they want to be and who they want to impact in their lives. That's what moves me. We know where we belong, whether we're in that seat or not. We heard the word legacy and we were pulled to come. I flew in last minute. Let's go. Leadership, legacy, love. Whew, I gotta be there. So what happens in marketing is when you say, I am you put yourself in what we call a red sea. You're now fighting against a million competitors with a million different things. Clarify, who are you? What do you stand for? And then simplify it, don't make it 10 things. Bruce Lee said, I do not fear the man who has thrown 10,000 kicks. He says, I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. You can have the most mouth-watering steak that the world has ever seen, but if you try to position it or place it in a vegan neighborhood, you make no money. Who are you trying to market to? Sometimes we don't support each other. Sometimes you got to go outside of your community, outside of your neighborhood, outside of your phone book to find someone who will support you. So if your business is hurting, think about the place that you're trying to move, whatever it is that you're moving, and the people that you're trying to sell to. You want to become the OVO. The OVO is the only viable option in your vertical. The only viable option in your vertical. We're not here for competition. We're here for domination. We're here for domination, period. And if you feel differently, you're probably in the wrong room. Is anybody ready for the fifth one? Are you ready for the fifth one? Might want to capture this. Might want to capture this. For God's sakes, man, your prices. Your prices. We should stand out because of price. Some people look for the lowest price. You're making a big mistake because you're defining yourself. Your success comes from mindset and perception. If you're competing over the lowest price, there's a problem. Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands. Train people. I'm gonna leave you with this. We train people how to treat us when we meet us based on how we treat ourselves. Brand you and not what you do.